guys are gonna have to give me grace. All right. So it was just officially voted this morning. Like I tallied the votes that we are going to be doing Hebrew word studies, which we're actually, it's not going to just be the word. We're going to do like a focus on a word and we're going to jump through some scriptures where this Hebrew word is present. So we're going to try to get an idea of what it means. We're going to do a little bit of gematria, which is a word that'll scare some people because it's used in numerology and New Age practices and all that, but this is purely for the Hebrew language to get to a deeper meaning of the Hebrew language itself. Um, and I have not, I'm going to say this for the recording, you guys have all heard it, but for the recording's sake, I wasn't sure what we were doing until like 15 minutes before the call started. So um, I also am starting out a new feature on Zoom with trying to do the whiteboard. So hopefully you guys will be able to see the actual word breakdowns and I'll stop the whiteboard, we'll screen share so we can read through the text together. We'll see if it works. I just feel mentally like discombobulated. Just that's the lack of preparedness, I suppose. But I have some scriptures pulled out. So the words that I ended up choosing, again, I'll say for the recording's sake, I thought about Hekal, which is temple. I thought about Ahaba, which is love. I thought about doing the father's name, Yahuwah, and the son's name, both Yahusha and Yeshua. I thought about doing that study again, but I ended up deciding on light, which is or, and to grow or to spring forth, which is Tsamach. And both of these words are one of the 5 words that I had posted in our creatives group to have like a prompt to make something creative this week. I honestly, like now that I'm looking at my painting, so I finished my painting. Some of you, if you're on social media, you all have seen it. I finished my painting and I wasn't sure if I was going to do light or growth, like to spring forth, and I ended up doing them both. So I'll show you this, like you'll get a preview of it. Um, so that's basically, you can see the light and the little growth there. The lighting is probably not that great, actually, now that I think about it. But that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be, again, breaking down the words and we're going to be jumping through different parts of scripture. So I think we're going to start with light. I'm going to share, it's going to work, guys. I'm going to share a whiteboard. I'm not going to be able to see you guys because we've discovered this morning that I can either view the screen that I'm sharing or I can see all your faces. So Haley, if you could let me know, like you can auditorily let me know if somebody has their hand up or something like that, because I'm not going to be able to see it. All right, I'm starting this. Please be there. Open whiteboard. Okay. Can you guys see my chart here? I can't hear anybody. I can't tell. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, but
Oh
it's like
yeah, yes, yes, I forgot you can't see. Yes, we can see it.
Okay. All right. Is it big enough to read? Like on my end, it's big enough to read, but I don't
Um,
know.
not really.
it
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 is
is
for me.
for me, but I'm on a computer, so
Okay. I'm gonna try to zoom in as much as possible. That's about as much as I can get zoomed in on my end without covering up some of the letters. All right. So I just have this here, and then off to the right, I'm gonna do my writing and stuff. But this is to kind of show you what I'm working from, and you'll have to bear with me with the handwriting because I'm gonna be using my finger on oh, I someone's moving it. Stop moving it.
oh, Jess, it's Jess.
All right, I'm gonna just minimize participants from being able to move things. All right. I think now you can probably move it on your own screen without moving it on my screen, which would be fine. All right. All right. Can I draw? I'm gonna get my thing up. And I think I'm going to use red. Let's see what this looks like. That's all right. Or black. I'll do black. Okay. That's a little thick. This is a brand new thing for me, guys. So I'm all right. So the first word, ugh, light. Again, I'm drawing with my finger on a tablet, so just, understand that. Light is the word or. In paleo, it is Aleph, Wav, and Resh. I mean, it's the same in modern Hebrew, but I'm just doing the paleo first. Aleph, this is modern Hebrew, Wav, and Resh. And okay, so I'm going to break this down. The Aleph, which I'm just going to write the values. So the value for the Aleph is 1. You can see over on the left in the chart. The Aleph, oh, I guess I'll change. I'm going to make this slightly smaller. I think someone's trying to get in. Oh no. I can't add anybody else in. All right, hold on, guys. I gotta close this out for a second and add somebody in, I think, that's trying to get in. Yeah, there we go.
When
All
you
right.
do the whiteboard, I don't know why I can't talk, I can't chat, I can't do anything.
Can you unmute your mic and say something or no?
No, I don't even have a mic. Like it's
Uh-huh.
when I go to the screen for my
Yeah.
person and touch on it, it does nothing.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I was
it's
trying
super
to
weird
tell you
for
I didn't
me.
mean to move the screen, but I couldn't.
That's okay. It's okay. I had the setting on that allowed you guys to move it around, so it's my bad. All right, I've got a couple more people trying to join in here. I can't do anything either while the whiteboard is up. Um, so if I get notifications that people are, can I ask if the WAV is silent? It's not actually. The Aleph is silent in that. So the WAV in or wow, or however you want to call it. I call it WAV. The wow is the O sound, so that they can have an O sound or a U sound. And so the Aleph is silent, followed by the wow and the resh. I'm already over my head. All right, I'm gonna get back. Where's my whiteboard thing again? Whiteboards, existing whiteboards. All right. Yeah, I can't see any chats. I can't do the chat, I don't think. All right, here we go. So Aleph is at the top. It means head, strength, leader, ox. Its value is 1. Which I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to write. Oh no. There we go. Let's see if I can move this around. I need more space here.
Tina is asking if the Vav is silent. Oh, you'd already addressed that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's too thin. Oh my goodness. Let's get this a little bit thicker. Here we go. All right. Head. Strength. Leader. So we'll need both the numerical value that I wrote and we'll need those meanings. And so then WA, we're going to go back to, oh, come on. All right, we're going to go back to this chart over here. The WAV is the 6th, and it means nail, pierce, or connection. I like to look at the paleo. If you look at the paleo, it's one line down with a cross section, and it kind of represents a connection point to me. Hello, Addie. Can I help you? I'm doing this thing. What's up?
Could you write Luke on it?
Can I write Luke on it? Yeah. But then I'm gonna have to get back to this, okay? There you go. It's a beautiful picture. I love it. All right. So the WAV has a value of 6. It is the 6th character. Nail. I'm just gonna write connection point. Or just connection. We'll just write Pierce too. All right, Pierce. And then we have the Resh, which value is 200. I'll scroll back over. But that's man's head. Oops, man's head. Chief. We'll just do that. We'll stick to that. All right. All right, so this is the overall breakdown on ore, and then I'm going to draw a line here. We're getting to the gematria. So with gematria, we add up these numbers. So it's 200 plus 6 plus 1. So we're given 207. Then to get down to the absolute basic meaning of what ore is, we add up those digits. So 2 plus 0 plus 7 is 9, which is tet. I'll show you over. I guess you can still see it. So over in the chart here again, I will zoom. Nope, I can't do that. Oh, I can move. I'm like moving my letters around. How cool. All right. I'm gonna bring this. Nope, I can't. You'll notice that I've never used this before, guys. Can I zoom in? Yes, I can. All right. So tet is the 9th over here on the left. It is a basket, a container, a berth. It says snake. It's not necessarily meaning a snake. It looks like a snake. In the character, it looks like a snake anyway, and then just around something. So the tet is also wow, I can't even speak. The tet represents, like, to me, a womb. So birth, you'll see, but a womb. It's something that is safely contained and being prepared for something else, to be birthed out, to be, transformed. A place of safety. So tet, we will write here. Womb. Container. All right. So ore is a head, a strength, a leader. It is a connection point. It is a piercing, the nail, and it is chief. It is a container. It is something that prepares something else. And so if we understand, we're going to go back through some scriptures, but we understand that Messiah is the light of the world. We understand that in the beginning, which we're going to go to Genesis 1:3. I'm going to close out this now, and we'll get to some scripture stuff.
Could I ask a question before we
Yeah.
get too far into it?
Yeah,
I
please.
don't want to distract from the word,
Yeah.
but I'm wondering where does the gematria come from? Like, I understand the letter value, like each number has a value, but where does it come from? Like this all adding to get the meaning. Can you explain that a little bit?
I can explain as much as I understand. So it is simply something that I was taught. And then as I began to study it, every single Hebrew breakdown, finding that it is a perfect, perfect breakdown every single time. It's completely flawless. And if you look at the numerical values written, it's a mathematical fractal. And so, as far as who figured that out and where it came from and how people know that it's a perfect mathematical fractal, I couldn't tell you. I just know that I was taught how to break it down this way. And then as I further began to understand, um, honestly, the nature of reality and the fractals that make up the trees and the plants and our own nervous system, and like the Fibonacci spiral that's present in so much of reality, that lining that up with the Hebrew language, it manifests the exact same way. And so for me, it just makes sense. It's what I was taught. Every single breakdown I've done using this process has always brought greater meaning. But as far as like the origination of it, I really couldn't tell you. That's, I'm sure if I just looked it up, I'm sure I could find it. Maybe, I don't know. But I've never honestly thought to look it up, other than I can recognize that it's a mathematical fractal. And so as far as that, I don't really know. But like I said, every breakdown I've ever done displays an element of perfection, and you can find that like words with similar roots all have similar values. And you can kind of see the relation. It's like an invisible network of data connecting the whole language together in one, I would say, living consciousness. Like it's the father's pure tongue, it's the mother's mother tongue. And understanding the numerical values of things gives you a perspective on being able to look at behind the scenes of like visually what we're looking at with the characters, and seeing like, I don't know, like if you picture like a web, like strings are connected to each other all over, and like at a surface level, words might not seem super related, but at their core, they might have the similar roots, and you'd always recognize that, like the same roots in the numerical value as well. So as far as where it comes from, I couldn't tell you, but um, it's up to everybody to test if it's something that they are uncomfortable with. I get it. Gematria and numerology and all of that is used in a lot of wicked ways, but this is literally just how the Father made his language, and that's my perception of it, basically. All right. So a couple of the scriptures that I have, I mean, I'm sure you guys will have your own scriptures that will come to mind regarding regarding light. But we're going to go to Genesis 3, which I don't know if I need to share my screen with you. If I share my screen, I won't be able to see y'all faces. And so I'm less, we're going to jump around quite a bit though. First Genesis, verse 3 is where we see light. So I'm just going to read from 1 to 4, I think. 1 to, let's see, 1 to 5. So I'm going to rerun 1 through 5, and this is where we see light. Light comes into the world. In the beginning, Elohim created the Shemayim and the earth. And the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Ruah of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. So that word moving, this is like kind of cool. That word moving is kind of like in Hebrew vibration. So the Ruach was vibrating over the waters. So how creation came to be, you have water and then you have movement, which I geek out about that. Anyway, verse 3. And Elohim said, let light, that's or, that's our word right there. Let light come to be, and light or came to be. And Elohim saw the light, and it was good. And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, day one. Which is funny because like right in our group right now we're having like conversation about this like light and morning, but we're not gonna get into that. So I'm not gonna do I want to get into John? So John talks about the light of the world was there with the creator before all things were made, and nothing was made without him. And so I believe this section is not only talking about the physical light being separated from the darkness, but also the spiritual light being separated from the darkness. And it's very interesting that the beginning of creation, so it starts with darkness, and then the light comes forth from the darkness. And so we see this, it's going to kind of lead into our word of growth in Tsamach, because seeds, everything that grows, everything that comes into light starts in the darkness. The seed starts in the soil, starts in the earth, starts in that darkness. The roots are formed in the darkness, and the darkness is required for the fruit, for the tree, for the growth. So maybe we should have started with that. But anyway, so that's Genesis 1:3. Now we're going to switch to Isaiah 42:6. You're laughing, Casey. Why are you laughing?
I'm pretty sure you're going to the exact one I was about to look up. Because when you said the darkness, I was like, those darkness have seen great light. Is that the one?
I don't know. I think I might. I don't know how far back I'm going to read. I think I might read most of 42, and then we'll talk about where the light is. Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to read 42. This is a very prophetic chapter in Isaiah. I mean, Isaiah is all prophetic, but this one is also, it's talking about Messiah, and we are going to Messiah, the light of the world, and then whatever. So Isaiah 42, but the word that we're looking for that's or is in verse 6, but we'll read 42. See my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen one, my being has delighted in. I have put my ruach upon him. He brings forth right ruling to the nations. He does not cry out, nor lift up, nor causes his voice to be heard in the street. A crushed reed he does not break, a smoking flax he does not quench. He brings forth right ruling in accordance with truth. He does not become weak or crushed until he has established right ruling on the earth, and the coastlands wait for his Torah. Thus said the El Yahuwah, who created the Shemayim and stretched them out, who spread forth the earth and that which comes from it, and who gives breath to the people on it, and spirit to those who walk on it. Which I love that. Spirit to those who walk on it. This is verse 6. And I, Yahuwah, have called you in righteousness, and I take hold of your hand and guard you, and give you for a covenant to a people, for a light, that's the word or, for a light to the Gentiles, to open blind eyes, to bring out prisoners from the prison who sit in darkness from the prison house. I am Yahuwah, that is my name. My esteem I do not give to another, nor my praise to idols. All right. So we see that word. Oh, we have someone else trying to join. Anybody have anything that stands out in that before I just keep talking? Because I am just talking. No? All right. So this is clearly talking about the Messiah. He is lots of righteousness and truth. But it's interesting. It is I take hold of your hand and guard you and give you for a covenant to a people, for a light to the Gentiles, to open blind eyes, to bring out prisoners from the prison who sit in darkness from the prison house. So we're seeing that that word or is used for physical light in the physical sense, like the Most High saying, let there be light in the beginning. And in this, it's talking about bringing light to spiritual darkness. The Gentiles are the people outside of covenant. That has nothing to do with race. It's just the people who are not in covenant. Technically, the Hebrew people can be Gentiles too when they're not in covenant. So this is talking about being a light to the Gentiles, which is specifically referencing to shining a light to the understanding of the inner being for the Torah, for the ways of the Most High, and bringing out prisoners from the prison who sit in darkness. So this is a spiritual darkness. This is a lack of intimacy with the Father. So that's what light is. Light is going back to the meaning. So light is the beginning. It's a crown. It's a leader, and it is. Let's see, Wav. It's a connection point to the Creator. That nail piece is representative of Messiah. You have an element of the sacrifice leading to this connection. Wav. So the wav is very much a feminine word. So the ruach adds up to wav. A couple other things, but it's a very intimate sort of connection point from the Father to us is the light. And then I believe that the overall value that we talked about, the tet, that preparation, that womb, another sort of feminine thing, but it is that transition point from being in the womb, which is being in darkness, being prepared, or a seed being planted in the ground, to be prepared to spring forth into understanding, to spring forth into being a spiritual being, to be passed on from death into light, Gentile into an abrit, so outside of covenant into covenant. Light is the connection point there. Light is how you go. You need light to be able to see Torah clearly. You need light in your inner being. And Messiah talks about the eye is the lamp of the body, that the light within can be darkness, and great is that darkness, or it can be light. But in order to be in covenant, in order to be in life, in order to bear fruit, light is something that we all need. All right. I'm going to skip to Psalm 97:11.
Tina has her hand raised, Oria.
Oh, who has their hand raised? Oh, Tina. Yes. Yes. Please. Please.
Well, I was going to say there was a couple of things. The best way I've heard Vav explain to me in terms of what you were saying about a connection point, because my brain didn't really fully compute that when I'd heard that before, is like a fastening,
Mm-hmm.
like being fastened to his covenant, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I'm trying to remember what the other bit was. You said something about, no, it's gone. Okay, it'll come back to me if it's important. But no, I've forgotten the other bit.
That's okay. I'm excited. We're going to get, I didn't even write that down. I'm so glad that I saw that. All right. We will be coming back to Isaiah 44, so don't lose that place if you don't want to. That's the next place. All right, so we're going to Psalm 97:11. Gotta find my right
Casey has her
bookmark.
hand raised too.
Oh, yes, Casey.
Sorry, I just wanted to point out the verse that I was thinking when you said Isaiah was Isaiah 9:2, because
Yes.
it does use that same word for light, or
Yeah.
the people who were walking in darkness have seen a great light. Upon those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of death, a light has shone. This is a really cool connection that you're making with the womb, with Tet.
Mm-hmm.
This is really cool. I'm really enjoying this. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much for sharing that. What is that again? Isaiah? Because I like just quickly scramble down things, but like that is so good. Isaiah what?
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 2.
9:2. Okay, awesome. Thank you for
That's
that. That was absolutely beautiful, and it fits exactly right into what we're talking about. So thank you for that. Um, all right. I'm at Psalm 97. Let's see. How far do I want to read back? I'm just going to read the whole Psalm. Psalm 97 is kind of shorter, so I'm just going to read the whole thing. And it is in verse 11 that the word is, but we're just going to read the whole thing. Yahuwah shall reign, the earth rejoices, many isles are glad, clouds and thick cloud all around him. Righteousness and right ruling are found in his throne. So, like, something that I notice is like righteousness and right ruling are heavily tied to light in his throne, which makes sense. He's surrounded by light. Fire goes before him and burns up his adversaries round about. So I actually kind of want to stop. Fire in a Hebraic understanding, we see this in Revelation when John is describing, when Qeren is describing him, he has a flaming sword come out of his mouth, prophetically talking about people burning, people being consumed in fire. It's not literally talking about him burning people up with fire. It is a prophetic promise that you will be bathed in Torah. So you will be bathed in the light of the world. You will be bathed in the righteousness and right rulings. So you can either be tried in this life through the fires in this life, or when Messiah brings judgment, he will be bathing the world with the fire, the sword of fire that comes out of his mouth, which is his Torah, which is right ruling. So fire goes before him and burns up his adversaries. Nobody can stand before Torah. Nobody can stand before his perfect wisdom. His lightnings. So that lightnings is actually the same word, or is actually, so I didn't even think to look back, but lightnings has the word or in it as well. So his lightnings shall light the world. So it's like a quick display of his light, basically. His lightning shall light the world, and the earth shall see and tremble. Again, this is about a spiritual awakening and being able to see his goodness, to see his glory, to see his perfection, his Torah clearly. The mountains shall melt like wax before the face of Yahuwah, before the face of the Adon of all the earth. The Shemaim shall declare his righteousness, and all the people shall see his esteem. Again, his esteem is his glory. All the peoples will be able to see him clearly. All are put to shame who served carved images, those boasting of matters of naught. Bow yourselves to him, all you mighty ones. Zion shall hear and be glad. I have Zion on my sweatshirt today. I didn't even know that that was going to be in our reading, but I wore my Zion sweatshirt. But anyway, Zion shall hear and be glad, and the daughters of Yehuda rejoice because of your right rulings, O Yahuwah. For you, Yahuwah, are the most high over all the earth. You shall be greatly exalted over all mighty ones. You who love Yahuwah hate evil. He guards the lives of his kind ones. He delivers them out of the hand of the wicked. And then this verse 11 was what I highlighted. Light, or, is sown. So this goes right into to grow, to spring forth. So light is sown for the righteous and gladness for the upright in heart, which means it's a seed planted. Light is something that leads into something else. It's a preparation for something else. Light is sown for the righteous and gladness for the upright in heart. Rejoice in Yahuwah, you righteous, and give thanks at the remembrance of his Kodeshah, so his holiness. So that's the end of the Psalms, which is interesting. So right at the end in verse 11, we see light being sown in the righteous, but we don't see the fruit. What comes of that? Like what is birthed from light being sown? I next have, does anybody have anything before I move on? Any points? Any amazing connections in scripture, Casey? uh, all right. Let's see. I have Proverbs 13:9 for this. This is the last scripture that I have pulled up. Oh no, I never wrote down what in Jeremiah. I'll find it. Anyway, this is the last verse for or before we then get into our study breakdown on Tsamach, which is to grow. So Proverbs 13:9. The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked is put out. I'm not going to read the whole one because Proverbs, it's like individual things. But that is also the word. The light is or, and the lamp of the wicked is put out. This is again talking about something within, a guiding light within. So those who are righteous have a lamp unto my feet, a light unto my path, the light of the world, this inner guiding light, which helps you walk through the darkness, which we'll see. It helps things to spring forth from the darkness, just as in Genesis 1:3, the darkness was there, the Spirit was moving over the waters, and then light sprang forth to separate the darkness and the light. But the lamp of the wicked is put out. So the lamp of the wicked is their own guiding light, that they basically are walking in darkness. They don't have the ability to see things clearly. All right, so now we are going to go to Tsamach. I'm going to pull that whiteboard up as again. Let's see where my Jeremiah study is here. It must be this. That's not Jeremiah.
That verse in Psalm 97 that you mentioned, it reminds me of like somebody in the group brought up a verse in the New Testament, but it was brought up how like there was a prophecy shared about the new covenant being written on our hearts now,
Mhm.
and then somebody connected a New Testament verse. I don't remember when it was, but it said that I will begin a new work in you, or I will begin, I can't remember it, but it just reminded me of that, like the light being sown, like it's just beginning that work within you of light.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I remember that too. It's like, yeah. Let's see, what do I have? All right, so we're going to, should we read the scriptures first, or should we do the Hebrew breakdown of Tsamach first? Which do you guys prefer? Scriptures first regarding that word? Scriptures first? No, Hebrew breakdown first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like understanding what it means before we read the scriptures, because then it
Okay.
just is a deeper connection.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, who is iPhone 13 mini? I'm seeing that Haley's asking.
It
Yeah,
it possibly might be Stevie. I know she was asking if she could come in without
okay.
mic or video, but I'm not sure.
All right. Well, they're just here and listening, which is fine.
Just before
All right,
you
let's
go,
go back. Yeah, yeah, what's up?
can I add Isaiah 60 verse 1 about a verse because it came into my head. Is that what you were thinking, Casey?
Yes. Yeah,
Take
please do. Please do.
find it. I couldn't think which one it was. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of Yahuwah rises upon you. That one.
Amen. Love it. There's so much, like, there's literally so much where light and life and like bringing forth out of darkness and understanding and right, like it's all connected, and there's honestly so much of it. That was Isaiah what?
60 and 1.
Perfect. Thank you. I need you guys because I literally had 15 minutes to like get as many, like to just try to, you guys are helping me. So thank you. Those are beautiful. Actually, can you read that again? Because I was more so like, yeah, I would love to hear that again if you have it pulled up.
Okay, so in my scriptures, the whole of that chapter is called The Glory of Zion, which I really love anyway. But this is an NIV, to be fair, and then I just changed the names. So this is Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of Yahuwah rises upon you.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
verse 2 is even better because it links back
I'm
to
thinking
Genesis.
we just need to read the whole thing. Can we just can you read the whole chapter, please?
I
Can we
can,
just
but
read it?
I'm just warning you, it's quite long. Okay, so verse 1, Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of Yahuwah rises upon you. Verse 2, see, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples. But Yahuwah rises upon you, and his glory appears over you. How closely knit is that to verse 1 of Genesis? Okay, sorry, I'll stop getting excited and just read. Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. Lift up your eyes and look about you. All assemble and come to you. Your sons come from afar, and your daughters are carried on the arm. I love that. Then you will look and be radiant. Your heart will throb and swell with joy. The wealth on the seas will be brought to you. To you, the riches of the nations, and I wrote Gentiles underneath that, will come. Herds of camels will cover your land, young camels of Midian and Ephah, and all from Sheba will come, bearing gold and incense and proclaiming the praise of Yahuwah. That makes me think of the wise men and yeah.
That's exactly what I thought of too. Yeah, gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Exactly, yeah. And it says from Sheba, so I'm not quite sure where I think Sheba is, might not be exactly where they're talking about, but anyway. All Kedar's flocks will be gathered to you. The rams of Neboeth will serve you. They will be accepted as offerings on my altar, and I will adorn my glorious temple. Who are these that fly along like clouds, like doves to their nests? Surely the islands look to me. In the lead are the ships of Tarshish, bringing your sons from afar with their silver and gold, to the honor of Yahuwah your Elohim, the Holy One, the Kodash One of Yasharal. For he has endowed you with splendor. Foreigners will rebuild your walls, and their kings will serve you. Though in anger I struck you, in favor I will show you compassion. Your gates will always stand open. They will never be shut day or night, so that men may bring you the wealth of the nations, their kings led in triumphal procession. That verse makes me think of the new kingdom, the new, as it comes down from the Shemayim, it says unbelievers will kind of sit at the gates but not be allowed in, I think in Revelation. I can't remember the exact verse now, but that 60 in verse 11 makes me think of that. For the nation or kingdom that will not serve you will perish, it will be utterly ruined. The glory of Lebanon will come to you, the pine, the fir, and the cypress together, to adorn the place of my sanctuary, and I glorify the place of my feet. The sons of your oppressors will come bowing before you. All who despise you will bow down at your feet, and will call you the city of Yahuwah, Zion of the Kodash One of Israel, or Yasharal. Although you have been forsaken and hated, with no one traveling through, I will make you the everlasting pride and the joy of all generations. You will drink the milk of nations and be nursed at royal breasts. Then you will know that I am Yahuwah and your Savior, your Redeemer, the Mighty One of Jacob. Instead of bronze, I will bring you gold, and silver in place of iron. Instead of wood, I will bring you bronze, and iron in place of stones. I will make peace your governor, and righteousness your ruler. No longer will violence be heard in your land, nor ruin or destruction within your borders, but you will call your walls salvation and your gates praise. The sun will no more be your light by day, nor will the brightness of the moon shine on you. For Yahuwah will be your everlasting light, and your Elohim will be your glory. Your sun will never set again, and your moon will wane no more. Yahuwah will be your everlasting light, and your days of sorrow will end. Then will all the people be righteous, and they will possess the land forever. They are the shoots I have planted, the work of my hands for the display of my splendor. The least of you will become 1,000, the smallest a mighty nation. I am Yahuwah. In its time, I will do this swiftly. I was meant to read that. How many times was light? And then it says planted towards the end.
Yeah, yeah. That's so good. That's so good. A branch is my planting, a work of my hands to be adorned. The little shall become 1,000, the small one a strong nation. I, Yahuwah, shall hasten it in its time. I personally believe we're building that now. I believe it is in the Ruach. Before it ever comes down, I think we reach the fullness of the kingdom within, understanding power and authority within before the kingdom and like it all comes into the physical. So I think to a certain extent, we're all like, we're living in this time. We're experiencing this now, bringing out a Zion within us. It's just so exciting. I didn't even know you were going to be reading that, and I wore my Zion shirt. Like, how cool is that? All right. I had no intentions of covering anything to do with Zion today. It wasn't on my agenda. Um, all right. So now we're going to get to grow. So the Most High has brought us into light being planted, branches being planted, talking about the light of the world, Messiah, um, bringing from darkness into light. It's a deliverance. It's going from death to life, from darkness to light, from outside of covenant, being a Gentile, into covenant. It's a preparation. Light is planted within. So now we're going to go to grow Tsamach. And let's see what I'm going to get my verses ready here, even though we're not doing that first. We are doing the word study. I'm going to share my whiteboard again. Again, I can't see anything. So Haley, if somebody has their hand raised or something, if you can see it, let me know so that I can um, know. Alrighty. So I guess, oh, how did my G, that looks like an O, but anyway. So I guess to refresh, light, or, Aleph, Wav, Resh. It's a leader, the strength. It's something that begins something else. It is a connection point. The nail and the piercing is representative of Messiah's piercing, his sacrifice is just like how his sacrifice connected us to the Father. It was a connection point, just how the Ruach HaKodesh is a connection point. Light is a connection point from darkness into light. And it is a chief. It's like a crown on man's head. It is priority. It brings forth leadership in man. The overall value, when we did the gematria of adding it up, 1 plus 6 plus 200 is 207, but we want to condense it down to single digits to be able to look at the meaning. So it's 2 plus 0 plus 7 equals 9. And so the overall value of the word or is 9, which is tet, which it's a womb, so a container, it's a preparation. And we've seen in our scriptures today that light is planted. Light is something that is sown in the darkness. It's something that comes forth out of the darkness. It is birthed out of the darkness. It's a container to prepare something else. So now I'm going to try to erase all this. There we go. All right. We're going to erase. Bear with me, guys. Come on. Get that going. I guess I could have like increased the size of my eraser maybe, but that worked all right. All right, so now we're gonna get into the Hebrew word. This is to grow. I just need to bring this closer to me, you guys. I'm gonna worry about my face being right here. All right, to grow or to spring forth. This is used just like light is used in physical light and spiritual stuff all through scripture. This word Tsamach is used when talking about plants springing forth, but it's also used in talking spiritually of bringing something forth. So the word transliterated Tsamach, and then in Paleo, it's the Sadi, Mem, and Chet. Oops. Oh, man, darn it. Somebody was trying to join and I messed it up. I'm gonna have to close this out in a second, guys. Somebody's trying to join. I'm gonna do, this is the modern Hebrew down here. So we've got the Tzadi, the Mem, and the Chet. Oh, that's supposed to be connected. There we go. All right, I'm gonna close this out real quick. I think somebody was trying to join or something. Yeah. Danilo, you're already here. I don't understand why. Well, Danilo's here twice. Going back to the study. Appreciate your patience and all this, guys. It's brand new. All right, so Tsamach is to grow, to spring something forth. It is the Tzadi, the Mem, and the Chet. Up top, I have the Paleo. Oh, that's supposed to be connected there. Oh, no, don't do that. Connect. Oh, goodness. There we go. We have the Sadi, the Mem, the Ket, and then below it, we have the modern Hebrew, Sadi, Mem, and Ket. So we're just going to break down the gematria real quick together. So the Sadi has a value, it's either 90 or 18. It can be both. Nope, we're drawing this time. Drawing. All right, so, oh, that's too small. My goodness. Can we just? All right. Sadi, now go away. I'm just going to do 90. I promise you, whether you use 90 or 18, that looked horrible. Whether you use 90 or 18, it comes out the same mathematically. It does not matter. All right, so 90 plus mem. I'm going to use 40. And the het is 8, which the name of Yahuwah adds out to ket. Come on, I'm going to do this way. There we go. Anybody good at math? 90 plus 40 plus 8 in your head real quick? Just to...
It's 138.
Thank you. I could have done it, but it would have taken me longer. And I didn't want to do it. So I appreciate you helping me out there. All right. So back to my drawing thing. I believe this is 12, right, guys? 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. All right. So we condense all of the digits. So 1 plus 3 plus 8 is 12. Right, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. And then 1 plus 2 equals 3. So the overall value for, oh gosh, go back to this. For Tsamach, if we look at our chart here, the third character is the Gimel. So we will I'm going to not write camel, but it's to walk, to carry something out, basically. Let's see. I don't know if I'll put wealth, but I will. I'll put wealth. Wealth is kind of like a fruit of something, a fruit of your labor, but I'm going to do to carry something out. There we go. So I didn't write all the individual values. Oh, somebody's drawing. I gotta not let you guys edit. Sorry. All right. All right. So the tzadi is righteous. It is justice. It is visually a fish hook, but we're going to stick to righteous or righteousness or justice. The mem is water, immersion. It can be blood or chaos. So chaos is like, think of the untapped chaotic energy that existed before Yahuwah said, let there be light. It was just the water, the mem and the ruach. So we have righteous, and then we have water and chaos and blood, and then we have ket, which is a fence, wall, separation. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can maybe see my chart a little bit better. No, I can't. Come on.
Tina has her hand raised.
Oh, yes, Tina.
I was going to say the interesting thing, and I've just done a connection with this as you were talking about it. So number 3 to me, I was shown ages ago, and I couldn't remember the connection, and I think you've just given it to me, is about covenant promises. So if I see the number 3 or a repetition of like 3 or 333, and when you said wealth was like something coming to fruition, is that how you put it? And then walk something out or carry something out or complete something is what came to mind. That makes sense now as to why he gave me 3 as a covenant promise number. I knew it was, but I couldn't remember the reasons behind it, and I just linked it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. So I didn't write it all down, and maybe I probably should because I just wrote the overall value. But again, Sadi, a righteous, it is justice. So overall, we are carrying something out, right? We are walking it out. This is bringing something from the spiritual into the physical reality. It's representative of that camel. It can be a long journey. It is the wealth of something. So this is not talking about financial. This is like the fruit after labor. So when you carry something out, this is what comes forth from that journey. So righteousness or justice is brought forth. We have that water, we have chaos, we have the covering of the blood, and then we have ket, which is a separation. So think of the walls of Zion being praise, actually the walls of Zion being salvation. We have Yahuwah, his whole name adds up to Ket. He is a strong tower. He is a fence. He is that division point, but it's not just a division point. It is a protective barrier, basically. And so the word Tsamach is carrying out, to grow, to spring forth. It is the fruit that comes from righteousness. It is the fruit that comes from that blood immersion, from that connection to the water, which the waters of life, being immersed in that water. And then again, back to that, it is also a strong tower. It is a separation of darkness and light. It is a separation of covenant being outside of covenant. There's a separation there, a division there, and that's what happens when you spring forth. So I'm going to close this out. Huzzah. Now we're going to get into some scripture studies.
Can I?
Yes, yes.
You know those kids at school that are like, oh, me. Sorry.
Yeah, no, please.
The really, really amazing thing, and I'm hoping I'm not stealing your thunder when I say this.
No, please.
You've got light where the ultimate number through the gematria that you came down to was 9. Now 9, he always gives me as birthing something new. And 9 fruits of the Ruach, as we would know them. I know we've talked about there being 12. So I know Casey's face. This is what I was doing while Aria was talking. I was like, oh, oh, oh. So we're birthing the Tsamach, the light births the Tsamach, the carrying out, the growing. Is that where you were getting? Sorry if I stole that. That's not what I intended.
No. That's kind of what we're getting to. I want to look at something else. I did a bunch of Hebrew word studies, and I want to find them because I know other things that came out to Tet, and usually, not usually, always when you have these. Okay, so another thing that came out to Tet is the word to guard something. So shamar, which that word Shema Israel comes from the root word to guard something. So when you are hearing, it's not just passively hearing, you're protecting it, you're guarding it. So to guard something also comes out to Tet. Um, what else comes out to Tet?
It's called guarding it in your heart as well, which obviously he says he writes the Torah in our hearts, right? So
I have so many here. I'm just trying to get through. Let's see. Beth, Tet. Oh, here we go. So another thing that comes out to Tet is when I did the study on the breakdown of Simon being renamed Peter, the root word for Peter's name. So Peter's name is Kepha, which means rock. The root word for that is kafaf, and kafaf means to be bowed down, to bow yourself down, and that adds out to tet as well. So that tet, so being bowed down, guarding something, it all is a container, is a birth that's light. So being bowed down before the word, fearing Yahuwah, having this connection, this birth, the light, it's all connected and related. I think that's it in that book. But we'll move on to, I'm just really quickly going again. I literally have so many of these breakdowns in all these different places. What is this? Comes out to Gimel. So the word faith, which is Amuna, also adds up to Gimel. So that is something just like growth. So Tsamach is to grow. It is something that is carried out. It is something that comes forth, to burst forth out of righteousness. So faith, Amunah, is also Gemel. It's something that is carried out. It is movement. It is action. It is taking your belief and bringing it to action. I think that we're going to stop there. Oh, milk and honey. So milk and honey is something that's going to flow out of the kingdom. Both milk and honey are tet, which is that container, that womb, the springing, or like the birthplace. All right, yeah, we'll move on to some scriptures. All right, so I have Isaiah 44 verse 4, which I think is interesting because 444, a few of us will understand that. I'm going to read, I think, not Haley, Tina, I know that this will resonate with you just because some of our conversations, Isaiah 44 verse 44, but I'm going to read through, I'm going to read from 1 to, how much of this am I going to read? It's kind of a long chapter to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read until it feels good to stop. All right. So Isaiah 44, but the letter or the word that's Tsamach is in verse 4, and we'll stop at that point. But now hear, so there's that word, Shamar. Okay, hear, Shema, O Yaakov, my servant, and Yisrael, whom I have chosen. Thus says Yahuwah, who made you and formed you from the womb. So there's that tet again. Who helps you. Do not fear, O Jacob, my servant, and Yeshurun, who I have chosen. For I pour water, I pour water on the thirsty, in my floods on the dry ground. I pour my ruach on your seed. So here we are. We're getting ready for, we got the water, we got the seed, and my beracha on your offspring, and they shall spring up. That is Tsamach. So he pours out his water on the seed, which we know the seed is being planted is light, and they shall spring up among the grass like willows by streams of water. One says, I belong to Yahuwah. Another calls himself by the name of Yahob. Another writes with his hand unto Yahuwah, or writes with his hand unto Yahuwah, and names himself by the name of Yisrael. I think we'll stop there. Yeah, so that word to spring up, all within the first like 4 verses, we see the seed, we see the waters of the flood, we see the womb, we see Shema, to hear, which is to guard, which is also that tet. So we are really talking about something that has been saved in this protection bubble of a womb, this light that is then going to spring forth, and he's going to pour out his water. And something's going to spring forth of this. This is his promise. So, and they shall spring up among the grass like willows by streams of water. So I just want to add that I'm here snacking on seeds. Nice. So grass is often used spiritually to talk about the nations of the earth. So we are talking about the offspring of Jacob, the offspring of Israel, the offspring of a Lady Wisdom. So there's this offspring that shoots up among the grass, so among the nations. So it's an extra growth outside of the nations, like willows by streams of water. And so I am not remembering where it is. I'm sure if I really thought about it, I could figure it out. But being like a tree planted by streams of water, whose fruit grows in its proper seasons, and his leaf does not wither, and all that. So we are talking about not physical trees, it is talking about growing something from a spiritual, being so connected to the rivers of life, the waters of life within us, that we spring up in a way that is evident among the nations. I also have Jeremiah. Where is it? Is this it? I didn't write it out. Jeremiah 33:15 is I also have. Where are you? That's not it. Please tell me I didn't lose it, did I? I don't know why I didn't write it down. Oh, I didn't lose it. I'm just blind. That's okay. Jeremiah 33. So the word sahum, or not sahum, Tsamach. I don't know what sahum is. That's so weird. That sounds like a word. Tsamach is in verse 15, but I'm going to read. I'm going to read all of it, at least through to 15. So we'll just see what the building up of this is. So Jeremiah is another prophet. Jeremiah 33. And the word of Yahuwah came to Jeremiah, a second time while he was still shut up in the court of the guard, saying, Thus says Yahuwah, who made it, Yahuwah, who formed it to establish it. Yahuwah is his name. Call unto me, and I shall answer you and show you greatness and unknowns which you have not known. So this is already talking about creation, of springing something forth. This is, he has made it, he has established it, he has formed it. So greatness and things of the unknown which we have not known. This is talking about darkness to light. This is understanding where there was no understanding. For thus said Yahuwah, the Elohim of Yisrael, concerning the houses of his city, Zion, and the houses of his sovereigns of Yehuda, which are thrown down against the siege mounds and the sword. While coming to fight with the Castites, and to fill their places with the corpses of men, whom I shall slay in my displeasure and my wrath, all for whose evil I have hidden my face from the city. See, I am bringing it to a relief and a healing, and I shall heal them and reveal to them the riches of peace and truth. I shall turn back the captivity of Yehuda and the captivity of Israel, and shall build them as at the first, and shall cleanse them from all their wickedness that they have sinned against me, and I shall pardon all of their wickednesses that they have sinned, and by which they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise, and a pride before all nations of the earth, who hear the good I am doing to them. And they shall revere and quiver for all the goodness and all the peace I am doing to it. Thus said Yahuwah, in the place of which you say, it is dried up without man and without beast. In the cities of Yehuda, in the streets of Jerusalem, that are deserted, without man and without inhabitant and without beast, there shall once again be heard the voice of joy and the voice of gladness. Okay, before I finish to verse 11, this is talking about the internal, right? We're not talking about the external city that doesn't have people living in it. It's talking about the dead internal state of his people, the deadness of the people that it's a desert land that he's going to spring forth that water. We're talking about the internal streets that are deserted, without inhabitation. So this is not external. We're talking about the internal, right? So there once again shall be heard within the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of those who are saying, praise Yahuwah of his hosts, for Yahuwah is good, for his kindness is forever. Of those who are bringing the offering of praise into the house of Yahuwah, for I shall turn back the captivity of the land as at first, declares Yahuwah. So we just read somewhere in Isaiah, I don't remember which one it was, but sometime this morning, the walls of New Zion are salvation, and the gates are praise, and they are never shut. This is an internal thing. So he's talking about right away the voice of joy, the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, the voice of the bride. This is the voice of those who are saying this. So these are the gates into New Zion. Is praise. Praise Yahuwah of his hosts, for Yahuwah is good, for his kindness is forever. Of those who are bringing the offerings of praise into the house of Yahuwah, for I shall turn back the captivity of the land as at the first, declares Yahuwah. Thus says Yahuwah of hosts, this is the place which is dried up, without man, without beast, and in all its cities, there shall once again be a home of shepherds causing their flocks to lie down. In the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the low country, in the cities of the Negeb, and the land of Benjamin, and in the places around Jerusalem, in the cities of Yehuda, the flocks once again pass under the hand of him who counts them, declares Yahuwah. So something that's interesting, which I'm not going to get into it, but if you look at like the prophetic promise of Benjamin, this is like the prophetic nature of these places being restored. Jerusalem is the city of peace, the city of dwelling in perfect peace. So the cities of the Negeb, that's a river. So let's see, Yehuda and flocks once again pass under the hand of him who counts them, declares Yahuwah. See, the days are coming, declares Yahuwah, when I shall establish the good word which I have promised to the house of Israel and to the house of Yehuda. And then here in verse 15 is that word that we're looking at for Tsamach, which is to spring forth. In those days, And at that time I cause a branch of righteousness to spring forth for David, and he shall do right ruling and righteousness in the earth. So one of that chapter in Isaiah that Tina read literally talked about the branch springing forth. Haley, I see your hand raised.
I was just going to say that I appreciate you bringing out the it's a spiritual meeting and not physical. And I know I said this before, but it's like I'm constantly like, it's a habitual thing. I think it's just a default mode. I just automatically want to see things as physical interpretation. So thank you for reminding us or bringing out that it's a spiritual meaning. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure. Tina.
2 points. This whole chapter in my scriptures is called Promise of Restoration, which I love anyway. But also,
Yeah.
if you carry on into verse 16, this is one of my favorite this is one verse where it made me go and look up certain words in the Hebrew. It's one of the first ones because at the end of verse 16 it says, "This is the name by which it will be called, Yahuwah our righteousness." And I wrote underneath Yahuwah Zadakah because I didn't quite know what that would look like. So I went
Yeah.
and did my research on it. But that verse underneath just kind of links in with what you were saying about Tsamach as well because of the Zadakah bit at the beginning.
Yeah. And so interesting, like I didn't even one of the other, so we have or, which is light, one of those words. We have to grow or grow, which is Tsamach. And then restoration was another one of the words that I gave as like a prompt for the creative group. So like clearly like that's the Most High doing his thing. So verse 16, in those days Yehuda shall be saved, and Jerusalem shall be in safety. And this is that which shall be proclaimed to her, which is to Zion, Yahuwah our righteousness. Let's see. I can keep reading. I'm just gonna read the full chapter if you guys are okay with that. Are you guys in a hurry? Okay. For thus says Yahuwah, for David there is not to cease a man to sit on the throne of the house of Israel. And for the Kohanim, the Levites, there is not to cease a man to offer burnt offerings before me, to kindle grain offerings, and to slaughter continually. Again, we're not still killing animals, like this is an internal thing. And the word of Yahuwah came to Jeremiah, saying, Thus says Yahuwah, if you could break my covenant with the day and my covenant with the night, so that there be not day and night in their season, then my covenant should also be broken with David my servant, so that he shall not have a son to reign upon his throne. And when the Levites, the Kohanim, my attendants, as the hosts of the Shemaim is not counted, nor the sand of the sea measured, so I increase the descendants of David my servant, and the Levites who attend upon me. And the word of Yahuwah came to Jeremiah, saying, Have you not observed what these people have spoken, saying, The two clans which Yahuwah has chosen have been rejected by him. So they have despised my people no more to be a nation before them. Thus says Yahuwah, if my covenant is not with the day and night, and if I have not appointed the laws of the Shemaim in the earth, then I would also reject the descendants of Jacob and David my servant, so that I should not take of his descendants to be rulers over the descendants of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, for I shall turn back their captivity and have compassion on them. That is the end of Jeremiah 33. Any notes or anything that stood out in that little bit? I'm catching up. You said Ezekiel 36:36 in the chat.
Yeah, so this is a bit of I make like declarations some days when I'm feeling a
Yeah.
bit weird. And this one he brought me to a while back, and it's about being replanted and rebuilt. So I proclaim I am replanted and rebuilt by Yahuwah kind of thing. But this says, then the nations around you that remain will know that I, Yahuwah, have rebuilt what was destroyed and have replanted what was desolate. I, Yahuwah, have spoken and I will do it. And I love that. But it does sort of tie in with the whole replanting and the rebuilding. of us as his children right now.
Amen. I'm getting myself some dried mango. All right. So that was Jeremiah. We did Isaiah. I have Zechariah 6:12. Um, oh boy, how much do we want to get into? There's lots of 6:12. I'm just going to read 12 because it's talking about chariots with horses and all sorts of stuff. But verse 12 is talking about, and um, shall speak to him, saying, Thus says Yahweh of hosts, saying, See the man whose name is the branch, and from his place he shall branch out. So branch out, or to spring forth, that's the same word. That's Tsamach right there. He shall branch out, and he shall build the Hekal of Yahuwah. He shall build the temple of Yahuwah. So this is the within thing. The branch springs forth, builds the temple within. He is going to build the Hekal of Yahuwah. It is he who is going to bear the splendor, and he shall sit and rule on his throne, and shall be Kohen on his throne, and the council of peace shall be between them both. While the crown is for a remembrance in the Hekal of Yahuwah. And it says to Halem and Tobiah and to Yediah and to Hen, and it's talking about specific names that basically the branch is going to spring forth, and he's going to build the temple within. He's going to sit in his throne, wear the crown of light, and it is this internal throne. What else do I have? I have Psalm 85:11 written down. If anybody else has anything, please interject, just because this was all very random.
I've put a couple more in the chat. Isaiah 11:1, obviously the branch of Jesse.
Oh, feel free to read it. Yeah, please.
Hang on. And I also put John 15, the vine and the branches, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah, please read any of them. I was literally still writing down my references while we started the call, so I'm very unprepared today.
I'm thinking I'll read John 15 then, because although Isaiah 11:1 is good, it is literally that verse really that sticks out as anything to do with branches.
Okay.
So the vine and the branches is what chapter 15 is called in my scriptures, John 15. So I am the true vine and my father is the gardener, but I know in some translations it's I am the true branch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Abide in me and I will abide in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine and you are the branches, which is also Nazarene, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
In a man,
Yep.
if a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not remain in me, he is like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up and thrown into the fire and burned. If you remain in me and my word remains in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be given to you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. I could carry on, but I think that kind of covers it branch-wise.
Awesome. Thank you. I have a list of, and for some reason my phone is frozen. Oh, there we go. Of course. Sorry, give me a second. I had something. There we go. All right. So, um, I'm gonna just read some. I have Psalm 85 pulled up, but some other references where this word Tsamach is. So in Genesis 2:5, where it says, "No plant of the field has yet sprouted, for Yahuwah Elohim had not sent rain upon the earth." So this is talking that word sprouted is Tsamach. In Psalm 104:14, it is He makes the grass grow. This is Tsamach. In Isaiah 55:10, the rain that buds and sprouts. In Numbers 17:8, it talks about Aaron's staff sprouting, budding, blossoming. That's the same word.
Sorry, what was the numbers address?
Numbers 17:8.
Okay.
Ezekiel 29:21. I will cause a horn to sprout from the house of Israel. So this is again the same word.
Horn also mean light, as in my scriptures. Sometimes I translate the word horn, like the horns of the altar, means light, doesn't it, as well?
I don't know. I've never broken down that word. I just know like horns of the altar are representative of salvation and deliverance. So in Revelation, when it's talking about the ram that comes with 10 horns and stuff like that, these are not physical horns, obviously. They're representative of deliverance. So the horn of Israel is a deliverance. And I believe it's like similar to like the ram's horn that's blowing out. It is like a festal shout, kind of. It's related to that declaration of the victory is already won at the hands of Yahuwah. So they're all kind of connected. But as far as whether it's connected to light, I'm not sure. We could break it down though. We could do some quick gematria of the word horn.
I heard somebody rename it horn. The horn would be like the lights of the altar, like light shining out. So that's what made me think of it. I might
If
be
you
wrong.
guys are interested in doing a spontaneous study on the word horn to see if that has anything relation to light, I'd be down. So in Psalm 132, it actually says it points to a horn that Elohim will make grow for David. Isaiah 45, let the earth open, let salvation spring up. So that's again Tsamach. All right, those are some scriptures. Let's get into Psalm 85.
It
I'm
was
going to read
looking
the whole
like
psalm.
Casey was onto something, judging by her facial expressions over there.
What you got, Casey? Oh, is she frozen?
Oh, looks like it now. But
Oh no.
she was looking excited intently on her phone.
Oh no. No, she's definitely frozen. Yeah, so I have Psalm 85:11. Oh no, she left. Oh no.
You must have lost a connection.
Yeah. She was too busy working fire on her fingertips that her internet got overloaded. All right.
She was on
I'm
to
gonna read.
something. That's the enemy knocking her off, so we don't get to learn what it is.
I know, she brings such good nuggets too. All right. I'm just gonna read all of Psalms 85. I imagine it's good. I have no idea how much of it is relevant to the study, but verse 11 is the word that we're looking for. But anyway, beginning in, I feel bad. I want Casey to be here. I'll just keep an eye on the verse. Okay. 85. To the chief singer, a psalm for the sons of Korah. Yahuwah, you shall take pleasure in your land and shall turn back the captivity of Yaakov. So lots about captivity, deliverance. Oh, Casey's coming back. Okay. Everything's fine, guys. Casey's back. We're complete again. What happened? Maybe she's not fully back yet. Casey.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Oh,
hear you.
sorry. We have a storm here, so we lost power. So I'm just gonna join from, well, like it flashed. So I'm just gonna join from my phone so there's no more interruption.
Okay. We were noting, like Haley noticed that you looked like you were maybe making some connections or something. So we were just asking, like, did you have anything to share with the class? If not, that's okay too.
I honestly don't remember the last thing. Oh, I was looking up the horn thing.
Oh,
But I couldn't find anything yet. Then that happened. But I'll look
gotcha.
into
Okay.
it later.
All right. I think we're gonna do a spontaneous study on horn. We might as well to finish it up. So the Hebrew word for horn, we either have shofar or Qeren, and I'm gonna look to see which one is used. Horns of the altar. Then I'm gonna read all of Psalm 85. Just that's what we have pulled up. I don't know. I'm gonna look at shofar and then I'm gonna look at Qeren and see which one is used. But or Yobel is a ram's horn, a wind instrument. So there's lots of different things that could be used. So anyway, 85. Yahuwah, you shall take pleasure in your land. You shall turn back that captivity of Jacob. You shall take away the wickedness of your people. You shall cover all their sins, Selah. I feel like this has literally been like the theme. A part of this is like ruling in righteousness, turning back captivity, bringing like deliverance and salvation, which is light to the darkness, essentially. So this springing forth is very, very, very centered around light in the darkness. All right. You shall withdraw all your wrath, and you shall turn from your fierce displeasure. Turn back to us, O Elohim of our deliverance, and cause your wrath toward us to cease. Would you be enraged with us forever? Would you draw out your displeasure from generation to generation? Would you not revive us again? That's restoration. Revive us again for your people to rejoice in you. Show us your kindness, O Yahuwah, and give us your deliverance. Let me hear what El Yahuwah speaks, and speak peace to his people and his kind ones, and let them not turn again to folly. Truly, his deliverance is near to those who revere him. That's that word, yirah, again. Reverence, to fear Yahuwah, for esteem to dwell in our land. Kindness and truth shall meet, righteousness and peace shall touch. Truth sprouts. Here we go. Truth, Tsamach. Truth comes forth from the earth, and righteousness looks down from the Shemayim. So again, from the earth is darkness. It sprouts from something else. It's that container. It's that birthplace. Like it's all related. Indeed, Yahuwah. Oh, Casey. Yes.
Oh, it's thundering. Sorry. Um,
Okay.
I just looked up the Hebrew word for horn, and it also means flask or container for oil. But one of the
Mhm.
words that it could mean is ray of light and strength. The Hebrew word for it is Qeren.
Come on. Okay.
Do you want the Strong's number for it?
I have it pulled up. I had both Qeren here and then I had Shofar here, and I just like wasn't sure which one was what we're looking for.
Well,
Um,
you said container as I'm looking at this, and I was like, this also means container.
all right.
I thought that was, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I mean, please, please. Um,
Strong's on it, Casey, because I want to have a look at it later.
Um, where'd it go? Strong's H7161.
Thank you.
If you want shofar as well, just to kind of compare, it's 7782. So let's see, it looks like shofar is very specifically used for the blowing of the shofar, that sort of horn, whereas Qeren is what's used more commonly when talking about deliverance, the horn of the altar, the ray of light. Yeah. So very, very interesting how that's all related. Let's look at some. I'm going to finish this psalm real quick, and then I'm going to look at some of those things. So, truth sprout. So, truth, Tsamach, sprouts forth from the earth, from the darkness, from the depths, and righteousness looks down from the Shemayim. Indeed, Yahuwah gives what is good, and our land yields its increase. So again, that's the carrying something out. That is the fruit that comes. It yields its increase. Our land, so if we're going back to the earth, that's that darkness, that's that womb. It yields its increase. Righteousness goes before him and prepares a way for his footsteps. What's up, girl? You want to say hi?
Hi, Bobby.
So I gotta say hi to Bobby.
Someone's here.
Yeah. What's going on?
Um,
Are you hungry for lunch?
no, I wanted that root beer soda.
I'll make you a deal. I'll let you have the last root beer soda if you bring me one of the other ones that's in there. I think maybe there's a cream soda left.
Yeah.
You bring me one? We've been drinking those Poppy, or Ollie probiotic cream sodas. It just feels like I can let her have soda, and they're actually good for her. And it's like a little cheat. I love it. And I'm addicted too. I can't even say it's just for her. I'm addicted. All right. That's actually the last. So this Psalms is the last actual one that I had bookmarked. I didn't have time to bookmark anything else. So we got that Tsamach. I really want to look up the word Sahum because I don't know what that is, but it came to mind at one point. I'm gonna definitely just try to figure out what the heck that is. But let's go into horn. So horn is Qeren. Let's do a Hebrew word study on this because I think it's from the root word Qeren, which means to shine or shone. Oh, you're gonna pick between the cream soda and the root beer? I see. She's doing eeny, meeny, miny, mo to catch it. You are not it. Which one did you give me? I got the root beer. I'll take it. Enjoy that cream soda, girl. All right. If I drink this, I don't know if I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom by the time our call is done. Oh my goodness, so tasty. All right. So the root word is karan, which is rays of light or to have horns. It's also so it's literally to shoot out horns or rays that shine from another source. So like the sun having rays of light shining, but it also can mean to gore something. So horns basically being stabbed into something violently, which if you think about light shining in the darkness, it's like it is completely destroying the darkness. It is springing forth and goring the darkness. I think that's really cool. So both horn and this root word have the same exact Hebrew characters. So
Can you
we're
see?
basically
Can you see? It says,
not really.
sorry, it says underneath in Strong's on my phone. This is underneath the brown drive of Briggs. There's a section that says number 3, and it says of altar horn-like projections at corners, which is obviously where that person, when they told me that, it came from. But I haven't
Yeah.
seen.
So if we think about it, we see in the Old Testament and when we studied the book of Yochanan, Zechariah took a hold of the horns of the altar. And this was something that in the Old Testament we see it might have been Joab, I don't remember who it was, but multiple people have taken a hold of the horns of the altar, and this is like taking a hold of deliverance. But now it goes so much deeper of like, it's not just a representative of salvation, it's a representation of light goring the darkness of this deliverance of darkness and delight. And it's all tying together, and I just love the Hebrew language so much. I love it so much. All right, so I'm like geeking out over this. This is just so cool because who would think horn goring something and the altar and a mountain and a ray of light, like who would think that all of those things are related, but they're all related. All right, so I'm gonna go back to my whiteboard here, and we will break up Qeren, and it's going to be the exact same word. So whether you're talking about a horn or you're talking about the word shone or to shine, it's the same exact Hebrew characters. So the gematria is going to be the exact same. The root word is the same. So I guess real quick, we'll just summarize Tsamach. So Tsamach, overall value is walking something out. It's wealth, it's treasure, it's something that comes out of something, or to carry something out on the earth. And it leads with righteousness. So the Sadi is righteous, it is justice. So it leads with justice and righteousness. And how much did we see in our studies of Tsamach where it talks about righteous and right rulings and truth? And then Mem. So Mem is that water, it's the immersion, it's blood. So we have the water being poured forth on the seed. And then the ket, which is a strong tower or a wall, a defense. It is a separation, but not just a division point. It is a divisions of like a fortress, basically. So to spring forth something, we have to have light, we have to have righteousness, we have to have the waters of life on that seed of light. And then I'm going to erase this. Erasing. And then we're going to do that spontaneous study of horn. I think this will be great. I'm excited. I can't hear you guys or see your faces. I'm excited. All right, I'm going to zoom this in. All right, my pen, my size, get this up.
I need to just tell you as well that
Yeah.
in Strong's, and this made me smile because we were talking about it earlier, it's also a vivid metaphor for strength, authority, and musical instruments, like with the horn that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Horn, the shofar itself, but all musical instruments.
And let's see. All right. So we have a cough. We have a resh. And then we have a noon. And then in the modern Hebrew, ref, resh. Oh, that's the ending one. All right. So on the left, we have Paleo. On the right, we have the modern Hebrew. I'm going to move this up now. Move up. No, don't do that. Move. Writing. All right. So I'm just going to do this one. The cough is, if forget what that is. It's 100. And it can mean like a sunrise. uh, the back of the head or behind something. So let's just do behind. I'm just gonna write sunrise up here. Something being risen up. Oh, risen up. And then we have Resh, which is 200, which is man's head. It's so interesting to me that the Kof has a behind the head meaning, and then Resh has man's head. So it's clearly something that leads into something else, to rise something else from something else. So we see that. Man's head, chief. And then we have first. And then the noon, which has the value of 50. And this is a seed, like a spiritual seed or a plant seed, honestly, which is interesting because we have growth and light in here. So seed, air, fish, we say life. So fish is more like representative, honestly, of the sperm bringing life. So the seed, it's not technically an exact fish. But let's see if I can, oh, please just be a good size. Okay, so adding this all up, so we have 350 when we add up all the values, and then 3 plus 5 is 8, which adds to Ket. And so the Ket, we've already talked about it, is fence. Fence, wall, separation. All right, so what are we looking at? Again, so this is Qeren. This is the word for horn. This is the word, also the root word for shining, for shone, like a ray of light from the sun. And this is indicative of like a violent stabbing or a goring of the darkness, that the light comes forth in the darkness. So the overall value is Ket. It's a fence, a wall, a separation, just like the name of Yahuwah adds up to Ket. So 8 is a very significant number, like I said, because that's the name, like the name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. He is a defense. It is a salvation type of separation, of separating us from darkness, separating us from death. The walls, so the walls of Zion, the walls of New Zion are salvation. So the overall value for Qeren or horn, but within that, so within horn, within to shine or shone is Kof, Resh, and Noon. So Kof is a sunrise. It's like something being risen up, but it also has elements of containing what was before. So it's rising up from something else. And then Resh is a man's head. So it's like a crown on a man's head, earthly, earthly power, earthly authority. So what chief on earth. It's a leader in man's head. So again, priorities, leadings of the man's mind, the man's head. And then it's a seed, an air, it's life. So, man, I'm like just doing this live, and I'm like, it's all so cool, so related. It is a containment, it's a separation from something else. We have the light being risen up out of the darkness. We have the man and the seed rising up out of darkness, the man's head having light. I think that's what it is. It is having the light within, the light of the throne of the Most High being within. The Holy of Holies is basically the chief or the crown where the Most High has his throne, which is why we are to have the name of Yahweh written on our foreheads. So that's a man's head, the name of Yahweh written right there. So I'm going to close this out. 8 also represents new beginnings. Yeah, new beginnings, the 8th day. So this is all super related and super cool, and it's all related to light. It's all related to grow. So we have or, just to kind of summarize. This has been a really like just kind of scattered random thing. Again, I didn't have any preparation for it. We are now 2 hours in. But yeah, I think we covered some really cool stuff. Light is all through scripture. Growth and to spring forth is all through scripture. Horn, salvation, deliverance. Light is still connected. So we went from or to all the way then to Qeren, horn, and it ties all the way back into light. Like, woo! It's the circle of life. It's the circle of life. So I think that that's beautiful. I also love there that restoration is something that we talked about a lot too. And so if for those of you who are in the creative worship group in our group, we have that challenge or like prompt to get us to do something creative, which is basically we have light, we have growth, we have restoration, strength, and wisdom, which I honestly feel like they're all related. I guarantee if we did restoration, if we did strength, and we did wisdom, they would all be tied in here because I know it's wisdom that brings forth life. It's wisdom that is the tree. Its roots are in the fear of Yahuwah, and we have the tree of life that springs forth. We covered elements of Tet. So the value of Tet, which is the womb, it's that place of darkness where there's the waters of life. So in the beginning, when the Most High in Genesis 1:3, like before he ever spoke forth, let there be light, it was darkness and it was the waters of life with the spirit vibrating over the waters. And so like that womb, that Tet right there was existent in the beginning of time before light existed. And then the Most High spoke into that womb, into Tet, into the waters, let there be light. That seed was planted in the darkness. And then we go forward into Tsamach, which is to grow. And what comes out of that, we have righteousness and right rulings. We have salvation and deliverance. Tsamach is that Gimel, which is to carry something forth, to walk something out. So we have the seed planted, being watered by the waters, and then we have this plant that's growing up like a willow among the nations, among the grass. And this is like us being able to carry his nature to bring right ruling to the nations. It's the Torah, it's the tree of life. And then we found our way to Qeren, which is the horn of salvation, which is light stabbing the darkness and goring the darkness and bringing everything all into completion into our study today of that womb, the bringing forth, the rising of something, the ket, which is that salvation, that separation from darkness to light. It's also beautiful, and I'm glad that the Most High allowed that to be organized because I was not prepared. And you guys added some beautiful treasures. Like I loved Isaiah 9:2 and Isaiah 61, with reference to the light coming into the darkness and all that. So anyway, Haley, I see Haley and Tina, but yes, Haley.
I was just going to share that for the challenge, I chose restoration and I finished my song. And I'll share it in the chat, but I just sung the melody, sung it with the melody, but I didn't put music behind it because I imagine it like piano. And I don't know. So I could put music behind it, but I'll share it later. But I chose
Okay,
restoration.
awesome. Yay! I'm excited to hear it. Tina.
So I was reading a bit further down in Strong's, and just to lead back, because I mentioned Isaiah 11:1 with the branches of Jesse. The
Mm-hmm.
scripture that links with H7161 being Qeren is 1 Samuel 16 and 1, which I'll read out, but it's the second part of that verse that stands out. It says, Yahweh said to Samuel, how long will you mourn for Saul, since I have rejected him as king over Israel? Then he says, fill your horn with oil and be on your way. I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem. I have chosen one of his sons to be king. So it brings you back into the branch and Jesse and there's probably loads more, but that's the only bit that I read afterwards.
There's something to like, so when Samuel anointed David and poured the oil out on his head, it came from a Qeren. It came from the horn. So there's connection between like the anointing of the Father as well, coming out of that horn, coming out of that light. Also like it makes me want to do a breakdown of Saul's name versus David's name because names are really, really important. And like Jacob, like I'm getting ready to do one of like Jacob being named Israel and what that means for the covenant promise and the covenant people. But like Shaul clearly meant something, and then David meant something, and like that anointing, that pouring out. Yes, Tina.
So I think, if I've got this right, because I have looked into this before, I think Saul or Shaul means small one, and David means either beloved or blessed. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's beloved.
Yeah,
So
I
that
think so too.
kind of splits them out straight away, because to say that Saul is like the small one, that underneath it almost sounds
Hmm.
like.
Hmm.
And the thing I was going to say was maybe those three words that you mentioned, wisdom, restoration, I can't remember the third one, should be our next one for next week.
Maybe, like, maybe. These words have all seemed related, and I didn't think that they were all super related. I just came up with 5 words and thought they were all good ones. But yeah, I enjoyed this study. Thank you for being here, guys, and for dealing with like the me not knowing how to use whiteboards yet and not having all my notes and stuff. Um, I imagine probably what we'll do is if I don't have like specific, like I don't want to just break down Hebrew words every single week. If I don't have like a really good like scriptures that are related to it and stuff like that, we might like, every 4 weeks or something get into like an actual scripture study where we're studying the text itself. Um, and just to break it up, but maybe we will come up with these great studies with the Hebrew words. It seems to be like the Father could definitely do some leading. Um, does anybody want to pray us out, or shall I? I'm happy to do so, but I just always want to ask because I talk a lot already. Um, Nobody's waving at me, so I'm just gonna do it. Once I do it, we can all unmute our mics and say our goodbyes, and then I'm gonna end the call. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy I wore my Zion sweatshirt too. Like we talked about, I wasn't planning on talking about Zion, but clearly, like the Father wants to bring us into greater light, deliverance, a horn into us, into that spiritual new kingdom. All right. Father, thank you so much for this study. Thank you for this time that you have allowed us to gather today. Um, whether we are just gathering together or we're keeping your Shabbat today. Father, I just thank you that we're able to do this across space and time to come together, despite the differences of we're spread all over the world, and we can come and fellowship with you and seek your face. Father, I thank you that you have brought together this community, this fellowship of people that desire you, that brothers and sisters who desire you above all things, and just the promise of you that is present in scripture, but it's also present in just statistics and how science works. And when things come together in agreement, that energy is amplified. And when we come together in agreement to seek you, Father, that you are here with us and speaking to us and speaking through us, Father. And I thank you and I praise you that while I did not have this study really organized or prepared, Father, you still showed up and you moved and you spoke and you allowed us and other people in this group to bring forth more words of your wisdom and more connection points, Father, that we are able to see just the perfect wisdom when we explore your language and we look at how all these things are related, Father, your light and growth and restoration and horn of your deliverance, Father, and light shining, Father, that it's all so related. And this is a promise that you have and you're singing it over us, Father. So I just ask that as this study is ending, that we don't shut off our mind to what you're speaking to us today, Father, that we would continue to allow that signal to be open like a radio station, that we don't turn off the dial, that we just remain a receiver and our ears are tuned to that still small voice, that as we continue to dwell with you today or dwell with our families or go about our days, whatever we have, remaining in this day, Father, that we are tuned in to your voice and we can hear you speak to us. I ask for further revelation about your light, your ore, and growth, and to understand what you're trying to grow within us with the seeds planted and the fruit, the gimel that we're going to carry out into our families, into the world around us, into our jobs, into our social media presence, Father, that it's kind of funny that one other word that I thought about studying today was besora, and that is the good news. And remembering, blessed are those, the feet of those who carry the good news. And foot is gemel. It's to carry something forth, Father. So I ask that you anoint us today with your horn pouring out oil, light shining within, that we would be anointed to carry your light, to carry your besora like a stabbing light in the darkness to dispel the darkness around us, that we would embody your light, that we would grow within, that we would water and allow the waters, the living waters of life, to just continue to nourish us, and to spring forth fruits even that we don't know that you are getting ready to harvest within us, that you are getting ready to bring forth from within us. Let us meditate on your word today. Let it soak into the bones of our being, the very essence of our being, where our life force springs out, Father. We thank you and we praise you for all of these things because they're already done, Father, because you are a good Father who gives us good things. When we ask for things, when we knock, the door is open. When we seek, we find, Father, and we're here seeking you. We're surrendering our hearts and minds to you, Father. So the promise that you will be found is already there. It's already spoken. And so we thank you and we praise you for the glimpses of your face, the glimpses of your kabod, your glory that we get to experience now and the rest of the day, Father. And even as we sleep, let your word continue to distill within us. We thank you and praise you for all these things. In Yahushua's name, amen. All right, guys. That was so lovely. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah.
And now this is a weekly thing. It's a weekly date that we're going on together. I'm so excited. It is going to be weird that it's going to change every month, but I think it'll be good. It'll allow maybe some other people to be able to join too, who might not always be able to meet on Wednesday. It could rotate, but I think we're gonna keep on this with doing some Hebrew word studies, and I'm pumped. I think this was great. Does anybody have any last thoughts, any ideas, anything that was like significant to you or spoken to you today? Um, anything like that before we end?
I just
No, you guys are lame. Oh, yeah, sorry. Tina,
No, I was just gonna say I just love the way he wove it all together while we were here, and I think it's probably a good thing that it's spontaneous because look how he works when it is.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. All right, guys. Love you all. I'm gonna end
All
the
right.
call.
Bye.
Shalom. I'll see you
Shalom,
guys in the
shalom.
chat, and I will see those of you who are showing up to the Friday open mic again. I'll be there, and I'll worship with whoever's there. So shalom, shalom. Love you all. Bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.